Hey guys. Okay, so today I'm going to be doing another character introduction. As of right now, this is the final character for the for the words. How do you word? This is the final character in the universe I've been talking about so far with Angel, Valentine, Milky. I am working on another one, but he's not finished yet. And currently this one right here that I'm going to introduce you guys to is still in some minor works as well. These are characters that I have yet to kind of get to know. So I have been working on developing them a lot more into their own characters, into their own persons and stuff like that. So today I'm going to introduce you guys to Ashton, and I believe I've mentioned him in at least Valentine's video. Ashton, aka Ash, I will refer to him as Ash a lot, is very, very close with Valentine. He and Valentine are like close as close can be, and he's always been there for Valentine and always protects him and watches over him and just makes sure that Valentine isn't doing anything too stupid. When I was developing Valentine, I wasn't really planning on creating Ashton at any point, but I knew I needed, like, just kind of a random secondary character to throw in, into the story, that Valentine, could, like, communicate with or talk to, for a scene. And that wasn't any of the previous characters or any like immediate characters. So I was like, why not just make this guy and name him Ashton? And then it started becoming more, and I really liked him as a character and wanted to make him into a main character. So now he's a main character, and he plays a very important part in Valentine's life, and hopefully will play a larger part in the story as well. And because he is so close with Valentine, he's also really close with Milky and Angel. They're all just this little family, little happy family together. So now on to his bio. Oh yes. I forget, because this is still in the works, a lot of it still is his connections to Valentine. So he's Valentine's best friend. He's the one that picks him up when he falls. He really loves Valentine and has since they were little kids, and he always looks out for him. Okay, so this is where it starts to get into more of him. So he is a gang member. He is part of a local gang in the story. He is the second in command, or like right hand to the gang leader. Now, do not judge me for this gang name. I am not good at coming up with names for organizations or places. I can do character names just fine, but when it comes to naming like institutions and stuff like that, it's a no-go. So the gang's name is Demon Lilies, and I have been told on a couple of occasions that it sounds like a female metal band. And sure, that'd be a really cool name for a female metal band, but they are a gang, and the leader is a woman. So y'all can at least, be like, okay, as long as if anybody has any better suggestions, I will gladly take them. I really don't care. at the moment is just gonna stay Demon Lilies. So he's been part of this since he was a teenager. And when he was a teenager, he it was it's never been like one that was serious. I'm trying to think. Obviously, gangs aren't necessarily good, but these guys aren't evil. They kind of use what they can to protect certain people. And I don't, where is it? Somewhere I had more information on Demon Lilies, but I don't know where that went. But they're very strong still. They're very strong despite the fact that they're not evil, going around raping people and killing people and la la la. The stereotypical fear of gangs and stuff. So he's been in that since he was a teenager, about 14 or 15. It was more just a lot of stupid trouble, vandalizing or simple theft or pulling vicious pranks. And now, okay, so he's been in and out of the foster system for the majority of his life. He never knew his parents. His mom died shortly after his birth, and his father was more he was not planned. His father was more of just this one night stand that between his mom and his father. And now, so he's kind of bounced around from foster family to foster family, but it's never, because he's just a much stronger type character, it's never affected him in super traumatic ways. He's always been able to stand up for himself pretty easily. And he... Oh. Okay, hey, I found it. One of the reasons that he joined Demon Lilies was because he wanted to use it as a way to protect foster children, like him. It gave him access to different resources and the gang's influence to sway the system and keep a lot of children out of harm's way. So he used it for a good thing, even though they don't always do super good things. But he's able to do a lot of good with it. And so, okay, so he's been in and out of the foster system. He's now an adult, so he's no longer in the foster system. But he was adopted by a family, I believe, or at least he was with a really good family in the foster system until he turned into an adult. And he's still really close with that family. He has a secret temper that really comes out when he's being super protective of his loved ones, or if there are people who cross too many moral lines. He likes logic and reason. He's very simple and practical and logical, not much for poetic abstracts and stuff. He enjoys quiet, calm evenings. He really likes cooking. He likes beer and the occasional hard liquor. He works as a tattoo artist. He used to graffiti a lot. He still occasionally does. That's what he mostly got in trouble for, was graffiti and vandalism. He loves to read classics and biographies. He's also secretly a Shakespeare fan. So yeah, he's got a secret soft side. Okay, and then there's his family. I will go into the background first. Okay, so when he was 16, he was taken in by an older couple in their early 50s. They were kind to him, and he grew to respect them. He got into less trouble. Of course, that didn't mean he didn't get into trouble at all. He stayed with them until he turned 18. So he was not adopted by them, but he stayed with them as a foster child for a long time. They were probably the closest to parents he's had. And because of his, and I explain this because he's just naturally this rather strong character and like dominant type character. He never had problems defending himself in situations less than ideal with previous foster homes. He used his strength to stand up for other foster kids when he was in the like not so healthy foster homes. And he has a scar on his shoulder where he had protected a younger child from being beaten with a broken beer bottle by a foster parent. After that happened, the foster parent was reported, so then Ashton got moved to the family that he stayed with until he became an adult. They are the Klein family. So there's Dolly and Raymond, who are the foster parents. Then they have their biological. Oh no, he wasn't biological. They actually had some children that they adopted, and one of them was Luke, and he and Ashton were really good friends, and he was definitely like an older brother type figure for Ashton, even though Ashton hadn't been adopted into the family. And then there was a younger brother, foster brother, Ramiro. He's the most recent foster child. So he wasn't around when Ashton was. This was after Ashton moved out. But Ashton still keeps in touch with the Kleins, and so he has gotten to know Ramiro, and he helps out and just kind of becomes a guiding light for Ramiro. So that's his little family outside of Angel and Valentine and Milky. That's really all I have so far with him. Just trying to think of more about his personality, because I don't have all of it on here. I know that I have a lot in my writing journal, wherever that went, over here. But that's a mess. So, if I can actually find anything, that's probably going to be a miracle. I'll just tell you what I typically use when I work with him. So he's a very kind of steady-minded and almost peacemaker type character. He doesn't get upset or frazzled very easily. He's got a pretty good poker face. And he's a very good leader as well. It's why he has ranked so high up in the gang. Because he knows his stuff, and he knows how to work with people and get their control, or get their obedience and get their attention from them. And he's very respectful as well. And so, like, people just automatically, like, when they meet him, they kind of gravitate towards him and respect him. And, let's see, what else? I've already mentioned that he's super protective, like, just very, very protective. Sometimes it can seem overbearing or overprotective, but he's, like, no nonsense, kind of, and he will, like, let's see, there's a scenario for, a little side story with Valentine. Valentine, is upset, and he's gone to a bar to drink his sorrows away, as usual. Ashton finds him, goes up and is like, "Is this the first drink?" And Valentine just grudgingly replies, "Yes." So Ashton pays for the drink. As soon as Valentine finishes it, he drags him out of the bar and brings him home. So he just, yeah. Sometimes he's a little more lenient. Like, he understands that Valentine can be allowed to have his fun, but he'll, like, stay in the corner and monitor the whole situation. If Valentine starts to get too, like, feisty and start fights needlessly, he'll go in, drag him away. If he's with Angel and they're all out and about doing stuff, he's like, hover parent, just kind of watching, bodyguarding, glaring, glaring at people who he thinks deserves it, but usually stone-faced. So yeah, but he's a really interesting character to work with, and like I said, I'm still working on him a lot, so there's certain aspects of his personality that are easy, and then there's other parts where I'm like, is this realistic? How do I connect to this? What else do I need to know about him? And so it's just a process of fleshing him out and getting to know him. And the way I work when I create characters, it's like getting to know a new person, a new friend. And it takes a lot of time sometimes, and other times it doesn't quite as much. And considering that all of the characters so far have been extensions of my own personality and my own emotions and struggles and stuff, Valentine is a part of myself that I have yet to kind of figure out. Ashton, not Valentine. Valentine is completely different. I already know most of him, and Ashton is the one that I have yet to get to know and have to connect to and kind of accept about myself. And same goes for the character that I mentioned earlier, that I haven't developed much at all. I have a name, I have a gender, I have a few personality traits, and somewhat of a family setup, but I don't have any kind of background or any sense of how he's gonna fit into this story yet. But like, it kind of comes as this feeling of, I think it's time to add in a new member, add a new member to this growing little family, and so I'm gonna finish Ashton, and then I'm gonna move on to this next character. And now I'm just rambling. I hope that despite my rambling, you guys enjoy the video and enjoyed getting to know Ashton. And at some point, when I start to flesh him out more and really get into creating him separate from Valentine, that I can introduce those parts of him to you guys, and you'll really get to know him just like I do. Yeah. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.